Day 11 of training camp, not open to the public, but they did practice today. So we're going to see what happened on the field. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, today they did practice indeed, but it wasn't open to the public. They will also be practicing Thursday, but that also will not be open to the public. The only practice this week is tomorrow, which is open to you guys, and then the joint practice with Chicago. If you're in the Chicago area and want to go to that, I think you have to go through the Chicago Bears website and see all that stuff. But yeah, closed practice to the public, and they'll probably practice like next Tuesday, closed practice, and then they have the joint practice Wednesday and Thursday. Also, kind of expecting the first depth chart to be dropped today, so if it does drop later today, maybe I'll make a video later tonight. But anything that you see on this very first depth chart for the game on Sunday, because they kind of have to do it, take it with a grain of salt, because there's nothing. Don't mean nothing to no one, no how, no way. So, practice today. Like I said, I got some on the field stuff. This is per Barry Jackson, Omar Kelly, and Isaiah Smalls. So observation, they say, among the standouts, edge player Mo Kamara, 3 big flash plays, nice to hear. Linebacker Derek McClendon, 3 or 4 sacks, nice to hear. Receiver Malik Washington caught a 52-yard touchdown from Tua Tagovailoa. Love hearing that. Receiver Jalen Waddle and running back Alexander Madison, who has been very good all camp. Tua, who has thrown just 1 interception all camp, none Tuesday, had a great pass to Washington, but overthrew an open Tyreek Hill on 1 play. Overthrew Tyreek Hill. Okay. Underthrew Hill on another play. All right, well. And then was way off on a pass to Nick Westbrook-Ikine, who was open in the end zone. I do have a video of him throwing a touchdown to Westbrook in the end zone. Zach Wilson threw several red zone touchdowns, but the defense got the better of 11-on-11 work Tuesday with constant pressure on the quarterback. Linebacker Jalen Phillips with a bruised foot returned to practice after missing 1 day. Cornerback Jason Marshall Jr., who is nursing a leg injury, participated in position drills and then spent the rest of the practice on a stationary bicycle. Players still out Tuesday. Center Andrew Meyer undisclosed. Alec Ingold, he's in concussion protocol. Austin Jackson dealing with that leg. Again, we're not going to see him for a hot minute. Cornerback Cam Smith, safety Ashton Davis, and Dante Trader Jr., and offensive lineman Baron Matos. We all know what happened to him. Hopefully he's doing better. Smith missed his 4th practice of camp. Coaches have made it clear he needs to get more reps. Cornerback B.J. Adams remains in concussion protocol, but is participating in parts of practice. Safety Elijah Campbell wore a non-contact jersey. The fact that B.J. Adams is participating in parts of practice means he's towards the end of concussion protocol, and he'll probably be out. But it's sad to say, and I hate to say this, I think Cam Smith gets cut before they have to cut down to 53. I think Cam Smith might get cut next week or while I'm at training camp, because had Chris Greer come out and talk about we're not holding his hand anymore, and then you had Mike McDaniel last week talking about or this past weekend talking about he has to be available and him not being available, blah blah blah. So this isn't a good look for him. He has all the talent in the world. It's just these other X factors that are in place. I don't see him making the roster. Zach Sealer wore the orange jersey bestowed on the players who stood out at the previous practice. Perhaps this was also a tip of the cap for all the good work that led to his 3-year, $67 million contract. Good for Zach Sealer. Love it. Or as TD likes to say, Zach Zealer, his twin brother. That just has different names. Love it. Absolutely love that he got the orange jersey and got a contract, but also that really stamps the whole, it's not about who stood out at the previous practice. It's more about, overall, right? It's probably who came to the meetings early, who stayed late, who was, there's probably different factors that are going into the orange jersey other than performance on the field during practice, because the fact that Willie Gay Jr. still hasn't gotten one kind of solidifies that. But yeah, but still, shout out to Sealer. Good for him. Notable first from the first set of 11 on 11s, Tua underthrew a wide open hill. It should have been a touchdown. Cornerback Kendall Sheffield got a hand on the ball. Jalen Wright had a run for 3 yards, but tackle Larry Borum, who's filling in for Austin Jackson, had a false start. Got to do better than that. Borum has had an underwhelming camp. Mo Kamara had a tackle for loss on Jalen Wright. The battle among Kamara, Cameron Good, Quentin Bell, and Grayson Murphy is an interesting one. Linebacker Derek McClendon, who has sacked Tua, who threw the pass anyway to Hill for 30 yards. Madison turned the corner for a 10-yard run, then ran another 8 yards up the middle. Madison has been the best of the backup running backs for the 11 days of camp. Wilson was off on a pass to Westbrook Ikine. Kamara had a sack on Wilson, then had a tackle at the line of scrimmage on Madison. Hayden Rucci dropped a Wilson pass with Mika Fitzpatrick applying pressure. Ollie Gordon, the second, broke for a 15-yard run behind a good block from Braden Daniels, who was very good on Tuesday. Madison then had a 5-yard run. Good hearing some positives from Braden Daniels. Again, we need that depth on the offensive line. Notable from the second set of 11 on 11s, Jordan Brooks applied pressure before Tua threw an incomplete pass. Tua hit Westbrook for a 10-yard touchdown in the corner of the end zone. That's the video I have. Sheffield was in coverage. Sealer with a would-be sack on Tua, who threw the ball away. Good to hear him throwing the ball away. That's something he needs to work on. Wright scored a 5-yard run. Sealer again pressured Tua, who again threw the ball away. Again, good to hear he's throwing the ball away, and good to hear Sealer is still being himself. McClendon, who had a good camp, sacked Wilson. Achane caught a 5-yard touchdown pass from Wilson, beating Willie Gay Jr. Wilson then hit D. Estridge, who made a nice catch for a 5-yard touchdown. Good got strong pressure off the edge, forcing Wilson to throw a ball away. Gordon scored from 4 yards on a shovel pass from Wilson. Ethan Rogers was called for pass interference. And then Tua overthrew Hill with Sheffield in coverage. Campbell limited Wright to a 2-yard gain. And Jalen Waddle then had a 15-yard catch from Tua in a hurry-up drill. Something I want you guys to notice, because I know I hear this a lot, especially when we talk about the backup quarterbacks and sometimes struggling. And people say they don't run with the ones. Did you notice that the play I said in that little paragraph, Achane caught a 5-yard touchdown from Wilson? They interchange the players. So they do somewhat, like, if they're not running with the ones, they'll take some of the ones and put them in with the twos. So there's that interchanging, so they have that connection. Tua hit Malik Washington on a 52-yard touchdown, beating Sheffield. And then I don't know why it was twice. They said the same thing twice. More of 11 on 11 drills. Chop sacks Wilson. Wilson then had a short completion to tight end Pharaoh Brown. Tua hit Tanner Connor for a 15-yard gain down the sideline. Malik Washington dropped a Tua pass in the end zone. Tua then overthrew a wide open Estridge in the end zone. McClendon then had another sack. He has had at least 7 during training camp. Highlights from the red zone drills. There has been an Eric Izukama sighting. Wilson hit him for a 5-yard touchdown. McClendon then hit his 3rd sack of the day on Wilson. Quinn Ewers hit Theo Weiss Jr. for a 33-yard touchdown. Weiss has been the best of the undrafted receivers. Ewers hit Gordon for a 3-yard gain, and Grayson Murphy beat Jalen McKenzie, son of former executive Reggie McKenzie, for a sack. Tua hit Waddle for a 10-yarder, then hit Waddle for an 8-yarder. Wilson hit Tariq Black on a touchdown. Ethan Bonner did not play the ball well in coverage. Tight end Hayden Rucci was called for a holding penalty on Good. McClendon... I talked when I swallowed, so it came out like McClendon. McClendon had a tackle in the back and nearly had a 4th sack. Keep in mind, he is doing a lot of this damage against backup offensive linemen. Again, that's where, like, perspective on some things. More 11 on 11 drill, hurry-up drills. Tua had a misconnection with Westbrook Ikine, though that might have been the receiver's fault. Tua hit Waddle for 11 yards, then hit him for 13. Sheffield had a nice pass break up on Tua. Tua's pass to Westbrook, and then Tua overthrew Estridge in the end zone. So that is your play on the field. Again, from what I'm reading, because I'm not seeing it with my eyes, I got another week, give or take. This time in 2 weeks, I will be heading to the airport because I leave the 19th, and then I'm there for camp the 20th and 21st. From what I'm hearing, it was, again, another defensive day. We had some nice deep passes from Tua to Malik Washington, 52-yard touchdown, and then, we had some nice plays here and there. But McClendon, sack after sack after sack, some overthrows, some underthrows, some miscommunication. Here's my thing. I expect the offense to be moving and grooving. I expect struggles from the defense. So to hear the defense is kind of getting the one up a little bit is making me feel better, because the thing I'm really going to be looking forward to is Friday's practice, because we'll see them against not themselves, if that makes any sense, because you start to get familiar with tendencies of your teammates. So it's nice to, see that. Here is the pass. This is the touchdown pass from Tua to Westbrook. Let me just. Nice little play. Nice little foot drag, too. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Jalen Phillips said something very interesting. We learned something new today. Patrick Paul, who is known as a gentle giant, is a blank talker. SHIT talker. Jalen Phillips said the worst is when he's laughing at the edge rushers. When we drafted Patrick Paul, if you go back and watch it, I was like, okay. And then the more I looked into it and the more I saw, how he plays and his height and his build and yada, yada, all that stuff, I was like, okay, I'm liking this guy. But the more I'm hearing about him during training camp, especially how well he's doing at the left side, and now I'm hearing that he laughs at edge rushers. Imagine going up against this 6'7" mess of a man, and you don't beat him, right? You can't get around him. He's got his mitts on you. You're not going anywhere, and he just pushes and pulls you wherever he wants to put you. And then Tua, does this thing, or there's a run behind him for whatever. And then all of a sudden, he's just like, he's just laughing at you. You just be like, come on, man. I love that. And I hope he takes that and puts that in the game. So, if one of these guys, these, pass rushers, whoever you want to, say TJ Watt, screw it. I'll go it. I'll talk about the highest paid pass rusher in the NFL right now. TJ Watt, we're going up against the Steelers. I think it's on a Monday night game. And he moves them. Grabs them and moves them, or he does whatever, and he's trying to pop, and he's just got him, and he doesn't go anywhere, and then it's a touchdown to Tyreek Hill, whatever. Just imagine you're TJ Watt, and all of a sudden he's just like, better luck next time. I love it. Talk your crap, Patrick Paul. Talk your crap. I absolutely love that. But yeah, there's not much to report on, because again, it was closed to the public. Tomorrow we're going to hear from Mike McDaniel. So we'll probably get more, information on some of the injuries and some other stuff. And then you guys will be there. So again, shout out to, Cash, and shout out to Tommy and all those guys who post videos from practice. So, us who aren't there can see it. We'll be able to see more footage. So this is going to be not my usual length of training camp videos, because normally my training camp video is almost a half hour long. This one's probably going to be 16 minutes. So if you're listening on the podcast, again, if you haven't yet, go check out the podcast. It's a short one. So hope you're doing a quick workout. You got a quick drive, or you're quickly cleaning or something. But I will see you tomorrow. Give you a little rundown of the schedule for the next 3 weeks real quick. So again, tomorrow, training camp, you will see me tomorrow, and a more in-depth situation. Then they do have practice Thursday, but it's closed. So you'll probably get a video kind of like today, where it's kind of short, maybe 15, 16 minutes. Then they have the joint practice with the Bears. I know Omar Kelly and Allen are going to be there. So we get in-depth breakdown. They have nothing on Saturday. Obviously, it's a preseason game the next day. So that Saturday, you're going to get a preview video from me talking about who I want to see, what I'm expecting, yada, yada. And then obviously Sunday at 1 o'clock, I will be live. And I think the game is on the NFL Network. So we'll all be able to watch it together and chat and all that stuff. And then the following week, supposedly Monday, Tuesday, they are I think they're going to just head to Detroit from Chicago and probably practice on their own there. We will see. Well, not Monday, probably Tuesday. Then they have the joint practice with the Lions on Wednesday, Thursday. Nothing Friday. Again, another preview video. Then 16th, 1 o'clock is the game. Then they come home. Nothing for the next 2 days. So they're going to rest. Then they have training camp open to the public on the 19th. You will get a video from me on that one early, kind of like this one, because then after I record my training camp video, I have to catch my flight, and I will be down in Miami for the 20th and the 21st, heading home after the 21st training camp. Then they have the Jags game. I will be home live for that. And then they have to cut down to the 53-man roster, I think, by the 25th. And then from the 25th until kickoff on the Thursday night game, you will get all of my preview videos. 2 was 2025 expectation video, the offense, the defense expectation video. I might just push that into one, what I expect from the Dolphins in a whole, why to be optimistic, why to be pessimistic, and my record prediction for the season. So got a lot going on for the next month. A lot of stuff I'm going to be doing. I'm really rarely going to take a day off. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on the podcast, be sure to follow, give it a 5-star rating. You're getting a ton of content. And then when we get ready for the start of the season, I will give you, to all the new subscribers, the schedule that I go weekly for the regular season. But we are almost here. We are almost here. I think we have a month until football starts, legit NFL football. So we're getting there, but I will see you tomorrow, probably around the same time, maybe 3-4 o'clock for day 12 of training camp. But like usual, stay classy and fins up.